exciting it is to be back in Hyphen's Haven, the space for multi-hyphenate artists who work on stage and off in front of the camera and behind the scenes. We share our paths to becoming who we are. Today, the spotlight turns to a professional not working in entertainment, but her work can have such an impact on artists that it bears featuring her. She is an Atlanta-based licensed psychotherapist with over 12 years of experience. She is the co-founder of Hard Mood Agency, a coaching and consulting firm, and the CEO and clinical director of the Hardy Clinic, an outpatient group mental health practice. I must say that I've had a great experience in individual and group counseling. Seeking therapy will improve your artistry. Sessions can help you become clear about who you really are, what your motivations are, and how you feel on your deepest level. And not only that, I have to mention one particular connection I have to her, as this licensed marriage and family therapist is the recipient of the Small Business Impact Grant through the Bay Good Foundation, owned by Beyonce. So I'm happy to introduce fellow Atlanta Black Parade Root member, Brittany Hardy. Hi, Brittany. How are you?
Hey, Drea, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for having me today. I really appreciate this.
Thank you for joining us. So, as we want the audience to understand the journey that you on, we always begin at the genesis. So, can you tell us about your parents and or those you were raised by and their names and professions?
Yes. So I was raised by my mother. She was a single mother, but I have a father as well. So my mother, her name was Paquita Hardy, and my dad is Ronald Robinson. So both are from Atlanta. My mom actually went to Grady High School. So Grady, whoop, whoop. And so my mom actually worked for years as a director at a children's at after school program. So she was a director of an after school program actually out in Carrollton. We ended up moving out there when I was in middle school. And my dad's from Atlanta as well. My dad has always been an entrepreneur, so he's done a gamut of things over the years. And so that's, I think, probably where I got the entrepreneurial spirit from him for sure. And my mom had like an accounting background for a little while, so pretty good with numbers. I feel like I get that part, and definitely a bit of my personality from both of my parents.
That's excellent. Already that foundation is being laid for you to
Mhm.
venture into the world that you currently work in. So
Yeah.
as a child growing up uh, in Atlanta, did you have any particular close relatives or siblings that were in your immediate world? And did any of those particular individuals have a significant impact on you?
Yeah, I have a lot of siblings. So I have a total of my dad, it's three of us. I have two brothers with my dad, and then my mom, I grew up with them in the same household as my older brother and two younger sisters. So my youngest sister, Courtney, is my favorite human in the world. She's an artist, and I would say her impact on me, just being older sister to siblings, taught me a lot about life and responsibility, of course. So I do feel like they were impactful. And I've had other relatives that I feel like they've had some impact, some good and bad, but I look at everything as an experience, and that it's taught me something that I'm using currently. So with the relationship with my like uncle and it was my uncle and my grandfather, with men, I think it's really important to look at our past. So for them, I did feel a bit of like they left. One was on drugs and the other was really sick. And then after my grandmother passed, he was really sick and distant. So it kind of played into, I would say, abandonment issues I've had with men. So it's very interesting being a therapist, being able to look back at that. So again, some of these experiences were great. I love them, but then it impacted me in a negative way too. So, and overall, I'm still grateful for it because I'm able to move past it and see that there is a correlation between the two.
Yes, thank you for sharing that. Yes, and it is so fascinating when I hold these spaces for people to start, talking over their lives, how those childhood moments really do hold space in you. So thank you for sharing that. But let's go to your early learning days. What
Mhm.
elementary school did you attend, and was there a teacher from that time who nurtured a talent that they saw in you?
It's funny. So I went to CW Hill Elementary. It's in Fourth Ward, and it was a teacher. Her name was Miss Burns. I've been, ironically for years, I wanted to like look her up and figure out where she is, if she's still living now. Because she wasn't that old at the time, but I actually went to her house. Like she had a get together. She would help us out a lot. My mom passed last year, so I can't go back and ask her, but I do remember that teacher, Miss Burns, and she was like really, really nice. Again, I spent time at her house. She was just really kind. So I really, really loved her.
Well,
It was my second and third grade teacher.
Ms. Burns, we speak your name, and it is the hope, if this podcast is shared in your circle, that that there's a way to make a connection.
Yes.
So, Ms. Burns, that's one teacher. And what about your middle school years? Was there a teacher during that time that started to see something special in you and wanted to focus
Middle
on that?
school. No, I mean middle school. By then we were kind of here in Atlanta, and then we went to Carrollton. So middle school, not so much. Like I was so awkward in middle school. It was very weird. The teachers were cool, but no one really stands out for middle school. Not so much.
Okay. What about high school?
High school, yeah. So ironically, I had a party this past weekend. So she was my English teacher. She was the student council staff member, and then because I was on student council, and she was my cheerleading coach. So for all 4 years of high school. So her name is Andrea Lyons. Back in the day, it was Andrea Mays before she was married. So she was actually here for my party on Saturday. So I've known her since 2000. Yeah, 2000 was my freshman year. So I've known her since then. So she was really impactful. So again, we spent a lot of time together as her being my coach. She's always been supportive over the years, like super, super. I mean, clearly came to my house for my birthday housewarming. And just always she, I don't know, it's funny looking at it now. Back when if I read my journal, back in the day when I was a teenager, it was between her and my mom. I would say, she's getting on my nerves, she's getting on my nerves. But as an adult looking back, no, she was amazing. She was very helpful, so very, very much a support back then and even now.
Wonderful, wonderful. And as you had this great experience of these two amazing women in your life, propelling you forward, what was that catalyst that pushed you into a particular area to transition from high school into your college or postgraduate years?
I think it was seeing the good in people, and then knowing that people are kind, I think was really helpful. And then going into leaving high school, I've always been very determined, like, okay, if I want to do something, I'm going to do it. And having that support from these women was really helpful, growing up. And then I still was able to find other women on my journey, even after school. Like in college, the person was Dr. Marlo Rouse Arnett, and she's a licensed marriage and family therapist as well. So she became my mentor, my new mentor for the beginning of my beginning of my career, my early career. So again, just them being genuine, showing that they care, being able to like literally call them and depend on them, I think is really, really has been really helpful.
And what college did you attend? What was the
I
name of
went
your
to
high school? Do we ask that too?
No,
High
so
school
high
and
school
college.
was Carrollton High School. I went to Carrollton High School. So Carrollton Junior High, then Carrollton High School, and then college for undergrad, I went to Georgia Southern University in Statesboro. And then graduate school, I went to Mercer, but the Atlanta campus. And my mentor there was Dr. Melanie Mullins. She's a licensed marriage and family therapist as well. So a lot of women, but also a man as well. So in graduate school, Dr. Steve Livingston, we still talk to this day. I love him so much. He has been so helpful. Again, just being able to reach out. I think that's the big thing. And we all want to feel a sense of like community and feel like we're supported. So when you're able to reach out to someone and they actually like hit you back, even though it's not always right away because people are busy, but they do hit you back, I think that just is a lot.
And what made you look into that major from your collegiate to your postgraduate work? Like what was it that said focus on this particular area?
So I knew in high school I wanted to do something with people. Initially, it was like possibly journalism. I loved Oprah. I remember doing a presentation on Oprah in high school. But then I was like, with journalism, do I have to write? Then I have to like learn about the news. I don't like writing. I'm not an avid reader or writer like that. So I was like, okay, maybe not this. So I chose psychology freshman year. And I met Dr. Rouse um, maybe my junior year or my senior year when I end up minoring in child and family development because of her. And but then I wanted to switch my major from psychology to that, but I couldn't because it was going to add another year. So I knew like work because I've always loved children. So in undergrad at Georgia Southern, I was a babysitter. I used to babysit for a couple of families down there. And so again, I knew I wanted to work with kids and possibly adults. So I was like, okay, well, she had her degree in marriage and family therapy. I was like, that's perfect because I knew in psychology you had to go on to get advanced degrees in order to practice therapy, whether it's a doctorate, whether it's a master's, you have to continue further your education after undergrad. So she took me to this conference. It was in Long Beach. I was 20, I think it was my senior year, and it was the annual national conference for the Association for Marriage and Family Therapists. So it was my first time on a plane and first time literally leaving the state without like my mom. And it was so amazing. Like I fell in love with marriage and family therapy, the field, mental health field at that conference. Like it was just so many people, it was poster presentations, it was workshops. It was amazing. So I was like, okay, this is definitely what I have to do. And then I applied and I was accepted into Mercer University. And that's where I met Dr. Livingston, who was a program director at the time, who's also a close colleague and friend of mine, I would say to this day.
Amazing. Yes. And students who are listening, I hope you took note of that conference. Please look up that conference if you have an interest in that field. That is a great tidbit of information that you shared. Thank you so much. So as you are working through your graduate time, are
Mm-hmm.
you then interested in pursuing working for a private practice, or I believe that you are also working on your doctorate as well. So how did all of this is a swirl of activity that's happening with you. I want to
Right.
share that.
Right. So in graduate school, yeah, I was thinking, I was like, okay, in undergrad, I used to think, okay, I would do private practice and I would teach. When I was in graduate school, I was like, I don't know about teaching, but I still wanted to do private practice. So, but I initially, they always suggest that you get experience. So I end up interning at a psychiatric hospital and I end up staying there for about 7 years, which I actually loved it. It was chaotic, but I definitely loved it. I actually learned so much. So I'm glad I actually did that before private practice because it taught me so much about diagnosing. It taught me a lot about medication management, how to navigate a chaotic work environment. So I learned a lot. So interning there and then I worked there and I ended up being the clinical director there too. So, but I knew again, private practice was something that I still wanted to do. Teaching, not so much. And with me being in school right now, so I was going to North Central University. I'm taking a break just because I'm super busy, but the plan is to finish my doctorate degree in this lifetime. But currently, it's just so many things. The Hardy Clinic is taking up a lot of my time, so it's the main focus. Um, but yeah, so again, in graduate school, Dr. Livingston told me, he said that maybe I should take some time off before pursuing my doctorate, which I am glad he said that though, because I have been trying to figure out what's the best move, like what type of doctorate. Do I want to stay in the mental health? Do I want to do business? So that would be the option because I have a company, I have a second company, and I have a nonprofit. So I am a business person currently. So thinking of possibly maybe getting the final degree in maybe something business related, but I'm not sure. So I'm just kind of taking my time because school isn't going anywhere. People have said that, but it really isn't. It's there. It's going to be there. I will figure it out and finish when I'm meant to. But having people to talk about this too was really helpful because I am glad I took a break before trying to go back to school because My company is doing well. I actually like business a lot. So learning more about that, I think would be helpful and beneficial to what I'm trying to do.
Excellent. And how long did you stay as a director before you decided I'm going to go ahead and get into my private
Yeah,
practice? What happened
literally.
there?
So, okay, so I was working at the facility. I was at Anchor for, again, about 7 years. I left for a little bit. I ended up working overseas. So I'm really big on taking breaks and, and living. So I actually graduated from Mercer in 2010. I worked at Anchor for a few years. I left in 2012, well, 2 years. I moved to China, literally Beijing, China in 2012. I was there for about 15 months working as a teacher, teaching English to children. Because again, I love children. And it was dope. I mean, it was crazy, but it was dope. And I learned then that I really didn't want to teach. So even though it was English, which but I don't want to teach. So, but I got to travel all over Southeast Asia. It was an amazing experience. So I came back, ended up going back into working back at the facility at the psych hospital, and then end up becoming director. So I was a director for a few years, maybe 2 to 3 years. And I was just not happy. I remember in March of 2018, I was like, I am not happy, crying all the time. That's when like something is not right. So I opened eyes, applied for the LLC literally March of that year. March 27th is when it was approved. And I think I left in April. So I resigned in April, didn't have another job, hadn't really started the Hardy Clinic. I was just like, this isn't it. So I ended up getting a couple part-time things here and there. Started the Hardy Clinic. I launched it that year in 2018. And then I was like, oh, do I really want to do this? So, after I launched it, because it's challenging. It's a new business. I've never done anything before. So I was like, okay, well, maybe just work for a little bit, take a little break, work for a little bit. Um, and then in 2020, COVID hit. And I ended up hiring on another therapist was always kind of already working for me a little bit, but I hired on a second therapist. So it was three of us. And we went from making like zero the first like 2018, nothing, maybe like a couple $100 because we had a couple clients. 2019, definitely we didn't make anything. We didn't see any clients to making 33,000 in 2020. Yeah. And then we've gone definitely up since then. So it's been, you think about life and life isn't linear. It literally it's up and down. Like, and that's business too. It's up and down. Even starting a business, it's like I'm here, but then maybe take a break. And I think we should do what feels good, but always come back. Like I feel like for me, if it's something I really want to do, I'm going to come back to it. Like getting this doctorate, it's always been something I want to do. I'm going to come back to it. It's just about kind of timing, I feel like sometimes.
Awesome. What a journey. Goodness gracious. China came back. Let me work a little bit. You like, Lord, this ain't it. And then you like, no, I got to go ahead and go. And you just walked out on faith. This is
Yeah.
this is a faith walk that you have taken for you to go from that 2018 year, two businesses now, a nonprofit, and you just won a grant and more accolades are on the way. And yeah, this is amazing. Yes, ma'am, with this journey. So now that you are firmly in the Hardy Clinic, what's a day in the life of you? Like what is your process of work to help
Yeah.
people who need some
Right.
counseling?
Right. So, okay. So currently I'm not practicing. I don't see clients currently just because mentally, time-wise, I don't have it. But um really trying. So a day in the life. So for me, I have meetings typically most of the day. So I wake up typically. A lot of times I have to go downtown for certain meetings. I'm a part of, so you can see the my little screensaver right here. That's the WE program. So that's the women's entrepreneur initiative. So they are a part of Invest Atlanta, and they're a accelerator program. So I'm a part of that program. So with this program, we have a lot of meetings, and I love it because it's very supportive. I met a lot of women in the program. Like we are very much support for each other. So a lot of times going downtown for that, for meetings, workshops that they have for us, which are really helpful. Maybe lunch meetings with colleagues, because it's really important to continue to network and support each other while I'm growing. So either meetings with coworkers, colleagues, a lot of meetings with staff. I have an office manager. We meet all the time. Actually, I just appointed my clinical manager. She's the clinical director as of this month. So I'll be stepping back, just founder and CEO here. And so meeting with her all the time, talking about kind of the day-to-day, our numbers. Sometimes I do still talk to our interns and our staff, kind of reach out just to check in with them. But a lot of meetings, like CPA, talking to the CPA, talking to our attorney, talking to different providers, people that want to collaborate with us, meeting with them. So it really is a lot of social, a lot of meetings, a lot of networking, which I do enjoy. So I do enjoy that piece. So just making sure that the brand awareness is huge. So making sure we have clients coming in for the therapist. We're trying to expand more. So one, we can increase the dollar amount that we pay our therapists. That's a big thing in mental health. We're not always compensated as therapists as we should be. So I'm working on different avenues to create other streams of revenue for the therapist. So when they come to us, when they come work for us, they can do different things. But trying to make sure the lights stay on, trying to expand, again, a lot of meetings throughout the day.
Okay. And as you are growing, this is the growth mode now. What
Mm-hmm.
would your goal be like in the next few years? What is it that you want to say, hey, I have reached this moment. This is where I said I was going to be, and I'm here.
Yeah, so a brick and mortar. So we're currently 100% virtual, which has been working for us, but some clients are asking for in person. And I think for our interns, it's important for them to learn therapy, learn how to, to conduct therapy in person. I think it's helpful. And for children, it is better for some children to definitely have in-person sessions. So we're going to purchase a commercial space, have an in-person, have a building, expand our services. So in a few years, I want the Hardy Clinic to be the premier training center, actual location and virtual training center for therapists to come in to do workshops, to work with, to work for us, to see clients, to do trainings. That's a big thing, training the community, corporate trainings, and also training other therapists. I want us to have different events. We have one currently, Arts in the Park, that just passed. It's a free event for children in the park to do art. Have other events like that, a summer day camp for kids that they come in, a therapeutic day camp every year. Because I want the sense of community that I grew up with, being from Atlanta. It was very close community when I grew up. Like it was a center down the street we went to. So I want the Hardy Clinic to be a wellness space, community like center for people to come to do yoga, to learn about nutrition, to maybe do some Reiki, to get counseling, all the things, because all of those things help our mental health. It's not just talking to someone. So that's when I say we've made it. Trainings, premier center, have a good bit of staff. We're out here continue to help people, but on a broader scale.
I love it. And I love that you're integrating the arts into this goal. And for
Yes.
those who are listening, as we are artists, to hear that this is also a space where artists can come to is very refreshing. And I want to turn a little bit to this experience with Beyonce's Foundation. As I said at the top of the show, you are a grant recipient of
Yeah.
one of her $10,000 grants. So share with us that process and how did you feel once your name was called? Like all of us, give us the journey of that.
Yeah. It's crazy. Like I was initially, someone had said to me, she's going to kill me for saying this, but she was saying something that random that she heard about that the grant recipients knew prior to being at the luncheon. That's what she heard from someone else. And I was like, well, that's weird because they literally specifically said that they are not going to announce it until we're there. The person would know. So kind of my mindset was going in, well, even if I didn't win, it's fine because this is a cool thing. This is a big deal. And then they had Tyler Perry there. So I love that because I really love Tyler Perry. So it was really great hearing him speak. And then when Leandria Johnson opened her mouth, the floodgates came out. I was exhausted. I kind of stayed in bed later that night and the next day. Like I was so tired from crying. So I think it was a mixture of my mom passing last year and her not being here, seeing all of this. I lost a lot of friendships over the past couple of years. It's just been a lot of change and a lot of transition in my life. So I was crying. Like I was wondering when she's going to stop singing so I can stop crying. Like, but it was great and I needed it clearly. So after that, I was like, okay, I came here for this. I guess, Lord, this is you brought me here to hear her sing and get this out. And then we had, the lunch, which was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they called it out, I was like, oh my God. Like it didn't hit me, to be honest, until like maybe probably the next day when my friends text me that at the Beyonce concert they shouted us out, like everybody that won I know, at the concert. So I have people from high school that I haven't talked to in years, like texting, emailing us, like, oh my God, I just heard your, company. So it didn't hit me until really that night. And I'm like, this is kind of crazy. Like Beyonce really, like, her foundation really, like, I would say I'm a step closer to Beyonce now. And she's a Virgo like I am. My birthday's tomorrow. Boop, boop. So it was a very, like, overall that day was so dope. And again, I was so drained after crying. So it didn't really set in and again until the next day. I'm slow to kind of process things. So I was kind of like screaming in my house a bit. I was like, oh my God. And this is actually our third grant that we won this year. Yeah. So we've had two grants. We won two grants last year, and then this is our third grant this year. So I just feel like it's just confirmation that things are going well.
You are doing what you have been called to do, and you're doing it exceedingly well. So,
yes,
amen. And I have the whole recording of Leandria. Just
girl, it was.
I can send it to
oh
you.
my God. Yes, please. Like if I need,
All 14 minutes, I think, of it. Like,
listen, especially if I need a good cry. Ooh.
because she just kept singing, like, Lord goodness, I'm trying now a little bit on the recording. It gets a little shaky because I'm trying to stay focused, and I feel myself going over like, oh Lord, I don't want. I'm trying to stay focused, but yes, I have her recording, and I'll be happy to share that with you. So
Okay.
we're going to transition to the last segment, which is just a little bit about getting to know you as in the individual a little bit more. I'm going to ask you some questions. Some of them are quick response, and some of them may be a little bit more thoughtful answers, but just tell us your answer and let's get to know you a little bit more. You ready?
Ready.
All right. Dogs or cats?
Neither.
Okay. Window or aisle seat?
Window.
What book would you give as a gift?
Ooh. Probably, what would be a good book? Buy Then, if it's an entrepreneur, Buy Then Build.
What's that again?
Buy Then Build.
Buy, build. Okay.
Buy Then Build. Mm-hmm.
I'll have to look that up. What movie can you not resist watching if it came on right now?
Love and Basketball.
Love it. Yes, Gina, who directed that awesome movie. What's your favorite recipe to cook or eat?
Ooh. What do I like to cook or eat? To eat, Mexican.
Okay.
Like Mexican food. I just had it recently. That's what came to my mind.
All right. What makes you laugh the most?
When people fall. When they like trip and stuff. I know it's bad, but it's so funny.
That answer made me think about that Adam Sandler movie when he took the little boy to the park and showed the boy how to trip people up with the stick. You remember? Have you seen that movie?
I remember
Big
that.
Daddy is the name of that movie.
I remember that.
Yes.
Yeah, when people trip, it's so funny to me. Oh my God. Not actually when they're fall, because I don't laugh right away. I wait until they're okay. But tripping, yeah, I will laugh. That's funny.
All right. What would be your theme song or entrance song when you walked into a room to introduce you?
Either or maybe like probably a Beyonce song. Yeah, because she's just amazing. I mean, yeah, and I just came from her concert. So
Yeah,
definitely
same here.
probably a Beyonce song.
Okay. Any of it. I mean, the
Yeah,
whole
she
group.
has so
What night did you go on?
I went Monday night.
You went Monday. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, if you could choose one superpower, what would it be?
Ooh, it used to be telepathy, but I don't want to hear what people think anymore. So people,
Especially when you hear people's thoughts when they come see you.
yeah, I don't want to hear that. So a superpower would be, um, yeah, to teleport. Hmm. Like be able to like wake up. I'm in Paris right now. Mhm.
I love that. Yeah, that's a good thing. Yes, there's a couple of places I want to be uh, later on, and yeah, I can go right on to the Bahamas or something like that. I feel that. I love
Cool.
it. So, if you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be?
Um, I would change. Sometimes I worry, you know. So I've gotten a lot better, but I would definitely be one of those people that's just chill, like a little bit more chill.
Okay. If you could offer yourself one piece of advice to your younger self, like in
Mhm.
your collegiate years, what would that advice be?
It will be fine. Like it will work out. It will be fine. Whatever happens, what's meant for you is for you. It will be fine.
I receive that. Yes. Amen.
Mhm.
And when
Yeah.
you think of the word successful, who is the first person that comes to mind?
Really me. Like I feel again, I've been embracing where we are. Like this is success. I'm so happy get to do what I want, kind of maneuver. It's certain things I still have to do that I don't necessarily want to, but for the most part, I get a lot of freedom and I've made a lot of strides. So I would say myself.
Yes, I believe in that. Because I mean, with 3 grants, I mean, you doing it. You are doing it. And I
Yeah.
know that you mentioned that in your 5 year or so goal, and it could happen even sooner though, on the path that you're going, you want to build a brick and mortar place. But are there more projects or events that you're looking forward to?
Well, we're actually looking to get the brick and mortar next year. So, yeah, I'm working on that now. I just got off the call with a business coach. So I've been working on that now. But other projects, we're trying to get more partnerships. So we're trying to get into the school system. So if anybody hears this that works with Atlanta Public School System, the Hardy Clinic is trying to get in, provide mental health support to the teachers and the students. So we want to get a contract with the school system because the staff definitely needs our support as well as the children.
I will share some contacts with you
Okay.
uh, very shortly.
Yeah.
I am connected to some people who are actually, my line sister is on the school board for
Okay.
APS. So
Yes.
yeah, I
Okay.
will share her direct cell number. Y'all can start chatting it up.
Okay.
So would you like to give some shout outs to some loved ones that have been supportive of you and your journey?
Yes. So shout out to my sister. She works for us. She's an artist. She's amazing. Courtney Ward. Shout out to my cousins, all my cousins. I love cousins. So my cousin Aquinas, my cousin Phyllis, my cousin Tracy. I love all of them. They've always been like super, super supportive to me. My friends are like my family. So Shay, Janza, my friend, it's a couple Jazzes. So both my friends' names Jasmine. Nicole, my office manager, who is just the most amazing human ever created. My clinical director, Faye, everybody at the Hardy Clinic, whoop, whoop, whoop. And then my friend Bruce and all my other friends, because they've like I have a really good support system. So I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful.
And we love shouting out everybody that has been supportive to everyone on this show. We love to send love to teachers and
Mhm.
every person, because we cannot do what we do by ourselves. So how can people learn more about you or follow you, your clinic, on social media? Please share all handles with us.
Yeah, so everything is at the Hardy Clinic. So Hardy is Hardy. So the Hardy Clinic on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, on Twitter, aka X, weird, and and LinkedIn is the Hardy Clinic as well. So you can find us there on all social media platforms. There, and our website is thehardyclinic.com.
Awesome. And if you look in today's show notes, you will see those links provided below. So we have come to the end of the spotlight for today's guest. If this podcast has helped you, please share. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to Dream of Drea across all social media platforms. My name is Drea of Dream of Drea, a production company specializing in driving ideas from pages to stages and from your dreams to screens. Remember, wherever you are, right now is the perfect time to act on your dreams. Thanks again to Brittany of the Hardy Clinic for joining us. And to all of y'all, we will connect next time. Y'all have a great day, okay?
Bye. Thank you guys.